Hey all, Chris Bassett here, and I'm going to do a quick tutorial on how I reupholstered my weight bench. It was pretty tore up. It looks better. Let's get into it. The fake leather was cracking. I got some duct tape trying to fix it. So we're going to pull the weight bench off. Typically, they're held on by either bolts or screws on the back. So on yours, go ahead and identify the fasteners and then remove those. That way you can take the plywood cushion off of your bench. I like to store my fasteners in a safe location so I don't lose them later. And then once you have all 4, 6, whatever you got removed, go ahead and go to a decent working surface. I took it into the kitchen table. Typically, when you reupholster something, you're going to deal with staples. So identify where the staples are at because you'll need to remove them. So the tools you'll be working with is a staple gun, tape measure, fabric shears. I have some 1/4 inch staples there and then some fabric. I did use cotton to reupholster my weight bench. However, vinyl is probably your best option as it doesn't absorb moisture. I don't really sweat a lot when I work out, so I wasn't really worried about using vinyl. Polyester is also a good alternative as it'll help repel moisture. So I'm going to go around and remove all the old material. If you keep it in reasonable condition, you can then use the old material as a template for when you cut out the new material. And then you can use a pair of pliers to remove all the staples. If you're having trouble, you can also take a flat screwdriver and then use it to wedge underneath the staple and then pry up on the staple. Just be careful of your hand placement, that way you don't accidentally stab yourself in the hand. Once all the staples are removed, you can go ahead and separate the plywood and the foam cushion from the material. You can then take your tape measure and measure the old material, the length and the width, and then you should be able to cut a shape that will be used to wrap the new upholstered weight bench. I want to say my shape was 18 inches wide by 34 inches long. It's always better to cut the shape just a little bit bigger because if it's too small and you don't have enough to wrap it around, obviously you're out of luck. So I did make sure to purchase extra material. There you can see I purchased the 108 inches long by 44 inches wide, so I had extra. I purchased everything at Walmart. I got the staple gun, staples, and even the cloth material, all from Walmart for, I don't know, 20 bucks. So just go ahead and lay that out flat. And in order to cut your material in a rectangular shape, you can follow the folds, or if you have like a straight edge when you're using the shears to cut the materials best. So I'm not even going to listen to my own advice. I'm going to eyeball it. I'm using the folds as a straight edge plus the table, so it'll be all right. So once you have your rectangle laid out, you're just going to sandwich everything back together. So put your foam cushion on, and then the plywood, and then center it. If you did want to measure this out before you actually had like a template to go off of, you could just measure the width, the height, and the depth, and then add 2 to 3 inches on each side. Then we're just going to staple the cloth to the plywood. So if you've never loaded a staple gun before, the staples come in these like sleeves. I bought the heavy-duty staple gun. So the tray is spring-loaded. Just press in and down to release it. And then you want to load the staples with the staples facing down towards the gun. And then once they're inserted, press the slide back in, push it in, and then latch it back in place. So I'm going to start by drawing the material in, make it taut. You want to make sure that the material is really tight, and then throw a few staples in. So the idea is to basically work around the plywood in a symmetrical fashion. That way the material is even across the board, and you want to try to pull out the wrinkles. When you get to the corners, that's going to be another issue where you have to fold the corners into place to maintain that round look. Here I'm just going to speed this up a little bit. You can see I'm just pulling the material tight evenly, trimming off some of the extra fuzz, or the edge is pretty tore up. So fold in the top, and then when you get to those corners, try to fold them evenly. Fold them into themselves, and then make sure to throw in a few extra staples. And here's what it looks like when the top's done, and then I just cut off the extra material. Definitely clean up your area when you're done, because stepping barefoot on staples, it'll feel not so nice. And there we go, finished product. Hey, check out this other video right here. There's links in the description to save some cash on stuff, so check that out. If you have any questions, put them down in the comments. If this was helpful, hit the like button. Thanks.